What is up guys, Coach Matt here, and today we're doing my top 3 tips for how to gain weight. And I know that might sound a bit out of the ordinary for you. I know most people think about weight loss all the time, but for myself and a bunch of other people, this is kind of a big deal, so I'm going to address it right now. Don't worry to all you people that are looking to lose weight, I'm going to do the same style format video right after this one, so don't worry to weight loss people, I got you covered. So the reason I'm starting off with this video is this is the issue I actually more readily identify. So it is light years easier for me to actually lose weight than it is to gain weight. So I've worked my way up from a 128-pound cross-country runner to now a 190-pound lifter, cue cross-country mat. Now this doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to weight loss. It's just you're missing out on that kind of personal experience where I kind of understand the emotions you might be going through or have the empathy in terms of going through the weight loss process. And that's something I think that is important when you're kind of considering where you're getting your research or information from. You kind of want someone that, one, has that scientific background, has the solid information that you want, and then two, kind of has that personal experience, emotional experience that you kind of relate to, and that really makes for good information in terms of what will work for you. But enough of all that, let's just jump right into it with the first tip. So my first tip, and the thing that probably gets me through gaining weight the easiest, is that liquids are going to be your best friend. Psychologically speaking, staring down a large plate of food is going to be way worse than staring down one of these, just a regular old shaker cup. So anytime you have the opportunity to drink your calories, take it. As a good example, if you do just take one of these, fill it up with 2% milk and 2 scoops of whey protein, you're looking at around 700 calories right there in a small, easy to drink shake. Slam that down in about 5 minutes. You'll be hungry in an hour or two. It's not gonna leave you too full. And obviously, if you need to, you can substitute out any sort of dairy product with any other product of your choice. Again, you do want to shoot for higher calorie things, so do keep that in mind. And then you can always step up the calories by adding things to this kind of shake, by making it a smoothie, adding, bananas, other fruits, peanut butter. I've seen people go old school and just add in a whole egg. Whatever works for you. You do want to keep in mind that you want to keep it decently light so that you can kind of drink this in a few minutes and then your digestion will kind of turn over in an hour or two, or you will be hungry. You don't want to leave this or have this leaving you full for the next 4 hours. I would caution against weight gainer shakes for this exact reason. So they do pack a whole bunch of calories, but the problem with it is they do kind of leave you feeling nauseous in the moment, and then they also fill you up for a longer period of time. So you're kind of getting more bang for your buck with these smaller protein shakes because you'll be able to drink more of them more often than you will with that kind of weight gainer shake that's going to leave you full for a longer period of time. The other cool thing with bringing in a lot of shakes to your diet is this kind of cuts down on the need for absolutely mammoth meal prep. So when you're in that 4,000 to 5,000 calorie range, meal prep can kind of get ridiculous. And shakes take about 2 minutes to prepare. Pour some milk, 2 scoops, shake it up, done. Is it a little weird? Yeah. Are you gonna go through a lot of protein? Yeah. Is it 100% better than trying to eat all this food in solid food? 100%. Alright, and that brings us to tip number 2, guys, which you kind of see me hitting at with the first tip, and that is to keep things light and try and eat more frequently rather than trying to eat 3 to 4 huge meals in one day. Like the shakes, you want to keep things small and light and shoot for about every 2 hours or so. This is going to keep the nauseous feeling at a bare minimum, and it's going to have you kind of feeling hungry again each time you have to eat instead of trying to have to force feed yourself. The general strategy is kind of grazing about 500 to 700 calories every 2 hours, and again, mostly in that kind of shake format or small snacks, and then I'll do 1 big meal per day. And if I'm lucky, that might hit 1,000 calories, but realistically it's probably still in the 700 to 800 calorie range with my 1 big meal, and that is dinner, of course. I will say this tip is made easier by the inclusion of shakes into your life. If you're not a fan of the shake idea, you are gonna have to be on top of your meal prep to kind of be able to eat every 2 hours, especially if you've got work situation that's not too flexible, stuff like that will get in the way. So you do have to be on top of your meal prep if you're not gonna do the shakes. Now, tip number 3 could apply to a lot more than just trying to gain weight. It's kind of something you'll hear me say over and over again with anything revolved to lifting, and that is do not rush this process. I would recommend for not shooting over anything more than gaining 1 pound per week. And for those of you that don't know, 1 pound per week would be approximately a 500 calorie surplus over your maintenance calories. And depending on how many calories your maintenance calories are, even gaining 1 pound per week might be a tall order. So you can start off with trying to gain ½ pound per week, which would be 250 calorie surplus, and then later try and work up to a 500 calorie surplus. Just don't get caught up in the internet hype and think you're gonna go on a 20-pound super bulk within 1 month. The other caveat I'd add here is if you're currently eating a small amount of food, I'd say 2,000 calories, and you find out that 4,000 calories is how much you need to gain weight, I would not try and go from 2,000 calories all the way up to 4,000 calories in one day. That's a grade A way to make yourself miserable. Instead, just slowly bump yourself up week to week, 500 calories. So start with 2,000, next week 2,500, next week 3,000, week after that 3,500, up to 4,000 calories, and you will feel a lot better doing it slowly like that. Obviously, this can be more drawn out if it needs to be, just be patient with it. And alright guys, that's my tips for the day. If you do have any questions about this stuff, just leave it in the comments below. I know a bunch of people can kind of get sketched out by weight gain tips and stuff like that in terms of thinking they're unhealthy or just their overall weirdness. So do feel free to leave some comments below and I can explain things more in depth if you need me to. As a little bonus, I've included in the description the Mifflin St. Jeor equation, and that's just to find your total daily energy expenditure, basically how many calories you're going to expend in a day, which is basically, or not basically, exactly your maintenance calories. So for those of you that don't know how much they should be eating, or you've just kind of been guessing up to this point, this equation is pretty cool. It's the one I learned in school, and it's the one that I found to be most reasonable in giving a decent guesstimate as to how many calories you need to be eating. For you guys that are having a hard time gaining weight, I would recommend that you use the extremely active portion when it comes to physical activity, regardless of how many days per week you are working out. And that'll give you a pretty darn close estimate of how many calories you need for maintenance level. And then again, to start gaining weight, you just add 500 calories to that to gain 1 pound a week, or 250 calories to that to gain a ½ pound per week. Otherwise, that's it guys. Thanks so much for watching the video. To you weight loss guys that are looking for that, I will have it up tomorrow, so don't worry about that. I will cover you guys as well.